Hello, album enjoyers. Quick note to remind you of the Enjoy an Album Patreon page. For £5 a month, you get 2 extra episodes a week. They are ad-free. They are your fun, regular, normal episodes. Just me and Chris just fucking chatting and scatting about some of the best and worst albums of all time. Or you also get the access to the back catalogue of Patreon posts we've already done. Robbie Williams.
Iron Maiden.
Lin-Manuel
Miranda's Hamilton.
That was a good one. We've recently done Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran, Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran. Oh, the Raytons. Yes, there's been some really good episodes on there, so worth it. If you've run out of pods.
It's not like extra stuff. It's not like some podcasts are like, oh, hey, we recorded a wee bit extra. This isn't like the fucking Trimmings, man.
No, this is your gourmet album enjoyer experience.
This is an extra meal.
Absolutely. And you might be like, I don't want an extra meal. I'm full. Well, this is a better one that you won't be more full of. So how about that?
That is what we offer.
You also get early access to live shows, which is probably one of the biggest sells. So sign up to Patreon now at patreon.com/enjoy an album. Before we get chatting about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 with Ryan Cullen, we have a question from the Ultras. You can become an Ultra yourself on patreon.com/enjoy an album. Question is from Ewan Kennedy. Ewan Kennedy says, thoughts on the Billy No Mate's Glastonbury set reception? I think it was more against her using pre-recorded music and singing over it. Any thoughts on pre-recorded music for sets? Sleaford Mods are a great example of this. Both are great artists, in my opinion.
Ewan, thank you for being an Ultra.
Yes, thank you for your question.
I'm not going to put you on blast, brother.
Whoa.
But the fact that, there's a lot of people got criticised at Glastonbury. It wasn't just Billy No Mates. It tended to be women who were getting criticised a lot.
Yes.
And then guys were just, dildaning up there. Elton John was, literally just wearing a little gold pair of trousers being carried about like a baby who couldn't function,
Right.
Didn't get a lot of criticism for being a little
I don't think
baby.
Ewan is criticising them, though.
Can I just read that?
Yeah,
maybe I'm being too sensitive.
Because there was a sort of a bit of a Twitter discourse moment about Billy No Mates particularly.
Yes.
She had to take down her Twitter account because all the abuse she got online, because all the Six Music dads were saying, it's not proper music.
I have been attacked online myself by the Old Firm community of Glasgow, Scotland. You have been attacked by fans of Coronation Street,
yes.
And you think that's the same as mine, even though it's clearly not as bad. And no offense, it's not nice when you, you get attacked.
It's not nice.
It's not nice.
Yeah,
it's not nice when your friends belittle your trauma. But
I had to turn comments off.
You had to turn comments off.
Yeah.
I muted it and let them go because you got to drive engagement. But I can understand, you've just had this career highlight. You're Billy No Mates. You're playing Glastonbury, arguably the best music festival. But to think it was more against her using pre-recorded music, singing over it. There's loads of music like that,
But that was what the criticism was.
But it's like. It's not really though. It's because she's a woman.
Oh well, sure, yeah, yeah. And it's like young people music, and it's just like old Dars don't fucking understand because there's not a guitar.
Do you know? That's just there's so much music out there. Like Public Enemy didn't have a guitarist there.
What my problem is that I feel like you're framing this as if Ewan is making this argument. When he's not. He's asking a question about the dickheads.
I'm not putting Ewan on blast.
I mean, you've said that twice.
I'm not putting him on blast. I'm not. But Ewan...
I'm not putting Ewan on blast t-shirt is getting people to ask questions that I think are answered by the t-shirt.
That will be the first merchandise available on a joint album. I'm not putting Ewan on blast.
Oh my God, we should sell I'm not putting Ewan on blast t-shirts at the live show, which is coming up on August the 14th.
Live show's coming up.
What a siege.
I would love to do Billy No Mates' record as part of this podcast because I've heard they're really cool. They open for Sleaford Mods on tour. It's a completely normal thing for people not to have a live band set up.
Yeah, just different types of music require different types of things.
People feel really comfortable, and this is something I found out when I had the TV. I used to have a TV program called Up For It on BBC Scotland.
Yeah, it got cancelled because
it got
It
did not get
canned.
It did not get
too controversial.
It wasn't controversial. It did not get commissioned.
I'm not putting you on blast.
I noticed I was doing a lot of daft stuff in that, and Roscoe's doing a lot of daft stuff in that. We were talking about that. people are watching this and it's silly. It doesn't really match the channel. Who was saying Ashley, who was a woman who's on it, and she was like, I get abuse every week.
Yeah.
And it's because people are more comfortable criticizing a woman publicly than they're comfortable.
Absolutely. And it's easier for men to be goofy in public.
Yeah.
Women, people don't like it when women are goofy.
People don't like it when women are anything other than popping babies out.
Yeah, that's
So
true. True.
So
I
not
hear that.
try to be Captain Feminist, because obviously
Captain Feminist over here.
Captain Feminist. I'm not trying to be Captain Feminist because I'm sure I'll say some awful stuff for this. I'm not a good person. I'm not trying to act as if I'm smart and stuff, but I would say a lot of the criticism is because she's a woman, and I'm not putting you on blast. And I'm not putting
If you want to put Ewan on Blast Live, you should buy tickets to the Monkey Barrel Live Show, August 14th at 5 to 10 at the Edinburgh Festival. We're really excited. We're covering Evanescence that night. We're going to have karaoke after. I've decided. We haven't organised that.
We haven't organised that.
We're just going to sing in the street. You can also buy tickets to mine and Christopher's individual solo comedy shows at the Edinburgh Festival. Mine is called Chronic Boom. It is on every night at 10:07. His is called Scary Times and it's on at 7:15.
We need to look up what show is going to be also in the venue at the same time as us, because they are going to have Nosebleed. And
Wake me up!
Wake me up, Ben!
Yeah, it's going to be disruptive. I'm looking forward to it. We hope that you are too. Tickets are available in the link there below.
Please don't do the thing YouTubers do where they go and it links up here and you can watch other episodes here and you can jam a thing up my bum hole.
Can we say to Chris the editor, please put the links where Chris just pointed and put the words "put things up my bum hole" where
and
he
then a
pointed
link
for that
to an actual video when that happened.
of you and your the bunghole sellers.
The Bunghole Sellers was a great show. Thank you to the Enjoying Album heads who came out.
This episode is about Tony Hawk. We talk a lot about video games in this one. A little bit of
It's a video game soundtrack.
a little bit of a departure.
One
but
song I
fun times.
didn't mention that I wish I had mentioned was in Crazy Hawks. No,
Oh fucking hell! Okay, right.
Crazy Taxi.
Yep.
The Offspring have a song.
Right.
Yeah. Do it once, say it again. Dun, dun. I wish I had put that on. That's my playlist choice,
well, you
but
didn't.
I forgot.
Spoiler alert, he did not. Enjoy the episode. Ryan Cullen was a fantastic guest. Enjoy him. Enjoy the general chats.
He's great.
Enjoy tickets to the live show coming up soon. Enjoy your lives. Enjoy an album.
This week we are sponsored by Manscaped.
They are the long-term Enjoy an Album sponsor. They provide the best pubic hair trimming services.
Surely
Not
that
services.
isn't what you usually say. The best of below the belt maintenance.
They actually avoid the word pubic, I think, because it's a bit gross. Whereas I'm wanting to bring it back and say, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Look, you need to shave your pubes.
Let's bring pubes back.
Yeah.
But in
Absolutely.
reverse.
Yeah, let's bring the word pubes back, but let's shave pubes away using Manscaped product like the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Lawnmower 2.0, I believe we're on now. It's got a little light. It's chargeable with a USB-C, same as your phone. It works in the shower. It's very quick to have a whip around downstairs to make you look nice and good.
Your genitals are going to go from a 6.5. They're going to go from
Inches. We can't say the Manscaped will give you a bigger dick, but we are inferring
Well,
it.
it looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. That's the whole point.
Crazy.
It's wild, actually. You have a shave, you look
Because
up, you're like...
trees don't look bigger in winter than in autumn. But
The Earth looks bigger, I think. I don't know if that's how it works. So we are sponsored by Manscaped. We have a code. If you follow the link and type in album20, you'll get 20% off, okay? So do that. Get your balls looking good for whoever wants to look at them, including yourselves.
balls, cock, arsehole, nose, ear, cock. Check it out. Trim it hard.
Enjoy
Love
the
it.
episode. You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, the soundtrack, released 20 years ago. The game didn't just ship with a whole bunch of famous skaters on the roster and be an excellent sports title in its own right, but with an excellent soundtrack as well. Sure, it had some tracks that in hindsight are a little too late 90s mall skater, but it also went way beyond that to include some more left field acts that nevertheless end up being a perfect fit for the game. It doesn't feel like a marketing exercise or sponsored content like modern sports games offerings do. Instead, it plays like a mixtape A dirty old cassette that developers Neversoft made and played to death in a van they drove around skate parks.
It sounds creepy, doesn't it, to ride in a van around skate parks, not skating, just...
Or handing out skateboards.
Yeah.
Do you know, like those people on TikTok?
Hey, I've got this for
I
you.
say it was actually Tony Hawk now that I think about it.
Yeah, it was...
It
Old
was,
fucking
wasn't it? Yeah.
creep. Welcome, by the way, Ryan Cullen to the pod. Honk, honk, honk.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Shout out to a real one. Ryan Cullen is here. Our first Irish guest.
No.
Yes.
You?
Yeah, well, technically.
Sure.
That's the first time I actually felt like some sort of minority. They're like, we got the first Irish guy on. They're like, whitest guy in the world.
Yeah, but, you know, I couldn't believe that. We need more Irish people on.
Yeah, we do. We'll
They're
work
good.
on it.
There's enough of them. Do good. I'm the
I agree with that.
trailblazer for the
I
Irish.
like them. I'll say
I
it.
think they're good.
I think they should be allowed on podcasts, personally.
We need more Irish diversity and more venue diversity.
More Vigo venue
Yeah.
diversity. Ryan is wearing a Beastie Boys tee.
Yeah.
We should get, those tier lists?
Mm-hmm.
We should do a tier list of band tees worn by guests on the pod.
Right.
And
Who else has been good?
I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
that's why I don't think we should do that.
well, we'll go through. We'll have little pictures. We'll have pictures, and then people can rate
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
S tier.
S tier. I'm gonna put Beastie Boys in S tier. I think it's a cool shirt.
S.
Can you imagine though, like if you were to like completely rat out someone about how shite there was, but call it the episode? Like I came here, did the episode, and it goes, yeah, it's released now, and I turned in the title of the episode. It's like fucking state of this.
Look at this terrible cunt's t-shirt. That sounds like something we would
Enjoy
do.
an album.
I
Number
would,
4.
I would never do that to anybody except Roscoe. But thank you for coming on. We had a little bit of an issue this week.
What do you mean?
Have I not told you about this?
I don't know.
Right, well, I asked Ryan, as always, when we get a guest, we asked him for the 5 records. And you honestly, probably one of the best.
Great list. Amil and the Sniffers were on there.
Amel
Yeah.
and the Sniffies.
Yep.
We got Thin Lizzy.
Security,
Yeah.
I'm getting in the pub. I'm not looking for ammo. I'm looking for love. Love that song. That's
Yeah.
still Amil and the Sniffers.
much can't be muzzled.
Just a
That's
fucking
that's the
mad
best song.
Australian chick with a mullet shouting.
And a
Yeah.
wee bit of-
Pink Unlocked.
Yeah. I've seen them. I've seen them live a few times. They're great.
You've seen them?
Aye.
They're playing at the Edinburgh Festival.
Are they?
Yeah.
What?
They're playing Sneaky Pete's or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Why not? All right.
Well, let's go.
Let's go.
yeah,
let's
yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Job done.
Cool. Let's just finish.
I've got something bizarre to say.
Yes.
First time I heard Email and the Sniffers.
Am I saying it? I'm saying Amil. You're saying
I
Amil.
don't know.
He's just Irish.
It's just Irish, yeah. I'm going for you.
Emil.
I'm going to say you're right. I love this
Email.
band. I just don't know how to pronounce it.
Because Amil, yeah, it's like
It's-
a...
It's like Eamon
yeah.
Holmes and the Sniffers.
Eamon and the Sniffers is my Amil and the Sniffers tribute band.
It was a couple of years ago in Brighton, and I was in a shop shazamming it and go, that sounds great. I knew of them, but I think, and guess what shop it was? Shop I bought this.
Wow.
Everything synergy.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
came-
That's either synergy or
Whoa.
you have only been in one record shop.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, yeah.
I have. That's true.
Yeah, that's also true. Wow, oh my
I was
God.
in Brighton. It was a big day out.
Yeah, I mean that sounds fantastic. So
Which, do you remember
gave
which
us-
record shop it was?
Not fuck.
There's a few, I've been to a few.
Because you had that story about that guy trying to sell the Princess Diana memorial.
Oh my
plate
God,
in
yeah, that
Brighton
was
record
fucking
shop.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was actually in, it's a town next to Brighton where Dave Benson Phillips is from. That's my fucking point of reference.
Hove?
No, he's not from Hove. He's from, it begins with a W. Where,
Never
where-
been. That was actually a good guess.
Yeah.
You gave 5 records. I'm on Sniffers. Loads of good shit, punk shit. I was into it, but we just thought, oh, this will be a fun one to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But then,
So hang on. Well, hold on. What did you put on the list? What Tony Hawk's
right, well, this
game
is the issue.
did
This
you put
is
on the list?
right. I put in. It doesn't matter too much. This is what we came to. Right?
Listen,
but
it matters to me. Which one was it?
Because I told you last night. Tony
Don't
Hawk's-
say that. I've been pretending not to know to fucking razz on Chris here, okay? You
You give up
arsehole.
that game already. Underground 2.
So you put on Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Now I played Tony Hawk's Underground, but
Yeah.
not Underground 2, and Tony Hawk's 4, okay?
Yeah.
So I hadn't played Underground 2, but you've changed it to what, a game that you have played?
Okay, so here's the issue.
This is the second time this has happened, by the way. When Stephen Buchanan came on, I was like, oh, you brought on your favourite Kendrick album. He's like, no, this isn't my favourite one. Chris made me change to a different one that he likes more. Is this what happens again?
I don't even know why I've done this, because I've played Tony Hawk's Underground 2. And I haven't played this one.
What the fuck is wrong with you? That's so mental.
I know.
I know Tony Hawk's Underground 2 like the back of my hand.
Yeah, me
too.
too.
It's like the worst one, isn't it?
No. Flipping a bitch. What?
Underground 2 is
We'll get to Underground 2.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter because I have played them all, and all of the soundtracks are all pretty good.
They're seminal Cullen musical journey soundtracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is like the best. And listen, if I can be completely honest, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, that playlist lasts 2 hours. This playlist lasts 38 minutes.
Okay.
So
that's
why don't you go down to the fucking apology shop and see if there's any good ones on discount?
The apology shop.
Yeah.
I'm in the apology shop and it's just full of sex pest comedians.
Open 24/7.
Why are they selling Instagram notes in here? That comes free with the phone. It's like, what?
I did, when I heard Tony Hawk's soundtrack, I was like, great, exciting. And then I went back to, I couldn't remember which ones I'd played, and I realised it was Tony Hawk's 4 and the first Underground, which I played back to front.
Yeah.
And they had great songs on it, but we're not covering those. They had that song, and it was good. It was fun to go back through them. There was a song, it was Less Than Jake, that used to have, do you think it's strange that there's a way for how you think and how you act and how you feel? Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Remember
It's
that one?
been a long time since I heard Less Than Jake even mentioned
Yeah,
anywhere.
that's what I mean. It was
love
always...
it is good for that.
Do you know what? There's that thing with all these like sort of pop punk bands as well, where I'm sort of worried to Google any of them because like 90% of them end up being pedos.
Less Than Jake were ska, and I don't think you get as many pedos in ska because it was so cringe.
There's kids aren't getting into ska, so it's harder for pedos to find.
I was like,
them.
I love ska. Back in the day, it did. I don't really listen to it anymore, in fairness.
You know, there's an exception to prove every rule, right? So, you know, I would say...
But me and you, Ryan, we went to Belladrum last year.
Yeah.
And we had a great chat about music on the way up. And Ryan has like loads of cool, interesting musical history stuff. He used to run like a punk night in Dublin.
Yeah. So I used to write. This was like there was 3 of us at the start, and it was called the Punky Reggae Party, after a Bob Marley song. And then usually I did some of the punk music, and then someone would do reggae music, and someone come in and do either ska or Northern Soul. And we had like Catcher Reardon from the Pogues came in and did one.
We were just we done Rum Sodomy in the Lash.
Oh well, there you go.
Last week,
one of the best ever.
She's fucking cool.
So
man.
she used to come in regularly.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
because she fucking dated Elvis Costello.
Yes,
that's what we were talking about.
Did
last
Elvis ever come in sniffing about?
No, this actually started in UCD in Dublin, and what happened was it was a college gig, and then it kind of went to a squat, like a squat in Dublin. And it's still there. We actually won the rights. You know, you ever hear like squats?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we stay there long enough. They did actually get it. I think that right now the place, like, it's called Shomer Spree, which basically is Irish for what? Fun room. Mm-hmm. And they make bikes. They fix your bike for cheap now. That's what they do. There's like a soup kitchen, and they help people with their bikes. But at the time, we used to run it in there for a while. I started like, because I was only about 17 or 18 at the time, so I started like backtracking when things got real serious. And what I mean by that was like people kept like coming up and like asking me to play like, or asking me, or Jim mostly then by the stage was doing it all, to play like Screwdriver.
Oh, the Nazi stuff?
Yeah, the Nazi stuff. And I was like, is that a joke?
Irish Nazis, man, that's a bad mix.
It's not, they weren't. So I then started figuring
it's
out.
Not.
No, there was a massive Swedish neo-Nazi cell in Dublin. So I used to come to a lot of, they found out about it and started like coming to it.
Is that when you shaved your head?
I was a skinhead. I was a skinhead when I had an afro, and now I don't listen to it as much, and I've got the look.
Wow. If only you could go back and
if only I could go
make
back.
some friends, man. You know?
I would have.
I mean, that is just one of those things about, like, you know, with punk, there is the two sides of it, where there's like, you know, the two-tone aspect of it, and then there's the fucking one-tone aspect of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then there was like loads of like posters up on the walls and stuff of like kind of dodgy stuff. And when you went to, I went to like take down the poster, and the guy was like, one of this dude was like, no, absolutely, don't take it down like that, for God's sake. You pop it in the middle, you put your fingers out and pop it out. And then when he did it, it showed you they had like Stanley blades sellotaped on the underside of the poster. So if you went like that, you just slice the tips of your fingers off.
Yeah.
And I was
Can't
like,
believe you acted as if you were daft for not doing that.
aye, it was like, you fucking idiot.
You never taken down a Nazi poster before, kid?
I'm not fucking Indiana Jones.
You use your whip to take the posters down, man.
So I was about 18 at the time, and I went, this is a bit much for me. So I kind of tanked it. It was still going for a while then after I left it, but I pushed it up.
So now I'm going to play fucking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater instead.
Then I started playing Tony. Actually, it was around the same time because I met Tony Hawk at the same college.
This is fucking crazy.
What do you mean you met Tony Hawk?
I met
You
Tony
can't
Hawk
just
because
drop a bomb like that. Sorry to
just
say the
come
words
into the
drop a bomb to an Irish person, but
I always talk about Tony Hawk, meeting Tony Hawk, because he's the coolest celebrity I've ever met, hands
I've known
down.
you for like 5 years, but you never brought it up to me. Why?
Never brought it up. He won the he was awarded the James Joyce Award for Literature.
I remember that bit in Ulysses. I was walking down O'Connell Street and then I saw an absolutely sick kickflip.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking, it was the
Portrait of Bob Burnquist as a young man.
it was in the same 3 months. Who else won it? Will Ferrell won it, and Christopher Lee won it.
None of these cunts have ever wrote a word in their life.
Nah.
So there's an Irish, I think he's Irish, writer called Tony Hawks,
Yeah.
I think you got the wrong one.
who he did I think he might be, I think he's English, I think he's like me, I think he's like pretend Irish.
Oh, okay.
And he did a famous book called Round Ireland with a Fridge. And it was like a travel book about the niceness of the Irish people and the friendliness. And it was him hitchhiking across Ireland with a big fridge and seeing how far he could get. So surely that was meant for him.
Hold on, I need more than this. He was carrying a fridge around.
yeah.
He's going around. He's taking just like Cliffs of Moher in a fridge.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's just an idea of like,
that, yeah.
Well, I suppose.
if you stand on, if you try and hitchhike in Ireland with a fridge, for after a while, someone's gonna be like, sure, fucking jump in. Whereas in England, they'd be like,
In fairness, yeah, they'll kind of let you away with it.
I remember once me and my family were driving around near Kerry.
Yeah.
And my dad like rolled down the window and asked someone, they were trying to get to the hotel, do you know where the Clayton Hotel is? And the man went, sure, fuck it, I'll just get in and show you. And he just like opened the back door and just like squeezed in next to us. And we just went for like 20 minutes. You take a left here and then right here. I'm getting out here, but you're going down there. And we just met this guy. It was like, and it's like that thing of like, is it friendly or should I feel threatened?
Yeah, no, I think you're all right in Kerry. That's a very Kerry thing to happen. You know, are you going to stop in for dinner? You're like, what? I met you 2 minutes ago, you maniac. You'd worry, but no, it's just Kerry people.
That's where the butter comes from, Kerry,
That is.
isn't it? Kerry
Kerry
Gold.
Gold butter, the absolute go-to butter. Kerry.
So we've done speaking about butter.
Oh, okay.
How did we get away from you meeting Tony Hawks to talk about butter then?
It happens to the best of us.
It's great podcasting.
It happens to the best of us. Nah, Tony, yeah, as I said, literary award. Nobody
The
cares.
James Joyce Literary
The James
Award.
Joyce Literary Award, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. He came. I was very excited at the time, and I was
old were you?
wearing a Rancid T-shirt. Right,
Just thought he hadn't cleaned it or something.
He walked past and he went, they played at my wedding, and I was just like,
Now that's S-tier T-shirt fucking recognition right there.
You've been dropped to B tier.
yeah.
Tony Hawk's t-shirts.
Yeah, I don't Rancid now. You can listen back to Rancid and go, it's a bit.
What a bass.
Yeah.
My dad loves Rancid.
I did love them, but you know, and they do have songs in Tony Hawk and everything, some of the older ones. But I just, but basically, he did the whole speech, and everybody was real cool. And his family were there, and some dude in the theater stood up and goes, "Can we have a skate off outside?" And he went, "Yeah, why not?" Wow. So we went outside, about 50 of us sitting around, and Tony Hawk. And this guy started doing it was only street stuff, obviously. And this guy completely obliterated Tony Hawk.
What?
And just fucked off into the distance, like, thank you. don't know who he is, walked off, and we were like, who the fuck's that guy? Tony Hawk went, who the fuck's this guy? But in fairness to Tony, he was wearing jeans and big shoes, and it wasn't his.
Oh, I'm not wearing my skating shoes.
And there is no.
Normally, I'm
pipes.
really good, but
No, he was still great, but this other guy was ready. It's like his
A
whole
great
life.
craftsman never blames the big shoes.
yeah, he was wearing knee
I
pads.
actually know who that was. I've heard that story before. That was James Joyce. He came
Now
back.
you're worthy of my award.
Now you're worthy.
So, but you met him.
Yeah. Then I talked to him before, in between that, for a few
So,
minutes.
what did you chat about?
Oh, I don't remember. I was shitting it. Most of it was about the Rancid thing at his wedding and stuff like that, and playing the games. But he was giving out about the weather.
Great.
And he was asking about skate parks in Dublin. I go, yeah, good luck.
Were you a skater?
I was bad. I was real bad. And it was when I was really younger as well.
I remember on the back of playing Tony Hawk,
Yeah.
I bought a skateboard.
Yeah.
And they'd built a skate park in Dagenham Park. And there was like I don't think you call it a half pipe. There was like a ramp. But it wasn't like half. It was like a quarter pipe.
Just, all right. Was it just a straight ramp?
It was just, it was like it had the two.
It had okay.
It had a curve, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't very high, and it wasn't up to half. And I met some guys from my school, and I went to skate down this half pipe. So I sort of like leaned the lip of the board onto the edge.
This is the first time you'd ever tried it.
I had skated just on my own, like just around the streets, just like staying on the board, but I'd never done a trick or anything. and I leant on it, and when I say that 0% of that skateboard touched that ramp, it could not have flown out of my feet quicker. And I landed so on my ass. And I just remember hearing, it would have been about 13 or something. I just remember hearing everybody lose themselves laughing because the board had just gone flying and I'd just fallen. And I'm sure it looked very funny. And that still, like, this reminded me of that real crushing memory.
Yeah.
I went home and I was just like, I'm never skating again.
It'd be great if like the way the skateboard scooted off and went up the ramp,
Yeah.
and while you were lying there, it came back down on top of you.
That would be good.
That would be good.
And a big Tom and Jerry dick bruise comes out the top of your head. That's my big thing with Tom and Jerry. Like, you think you ever fucked with him?
You think it...
You ever
can't-
got his big dick bruise out and started fucking...
Why would you call it a big dick bruise to start
Looks
with?
like a big
That's
dick.
such an insight to your psyche.
Like a big cock.
A big bump. Do you think if Tom ever fucked with a big bump from a bruise from banging his head?
Well, it would be
God,
better
how
than using,
painful that would be.
Yeah.
better than using
For
his
both.
horrible cat cock. Do you know they're barbed?
Yeah.
Well, you're better off with a bruise.
I don't know how
Do you
much
wanna- do you
sensation
want to know
he's
something
getting
real
from that.
bad
Yeah.
on that topic? Remember Speedy Gonzalez and
Yeah.
Slowpoke Rodriguez? They were voiced by some English dude.
Oh, were they?
Really?
It just sounds so bad.
That's a little guy talking like this.
Yeah, you're
yeah.
like,
It's fine when we do it because we're making fun of an English person doing it.
Yes, I mean, we're not English. Well, I'm not English.
I'm Irish.
So you're still bad. I
Also-
will say this, what you just said about that, like you started skating because of this. I was reading an interview with Tony Hawk and he said that he thought that by doing this game that some skaters would buy PlayStations, but in actual fact what happened was everybody who had a console
Bought a skateboard instead.
You know, it went the other way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there was like, in researching this, there was people saying he's one of the best, most known one of the most influential
Who
skateboarders.
else out there doing it?
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Maybe amongst skaters, like real skaters, there's people who have like invented particular tricks, but in terms of like mainstreaming the sport,
not even close. There's nobody even remotely.
Like,
exactly.
and for like 2 years, Bam Margera, but he was mostly known for like shoving things up his bum.
shoving fucking cat bruises up his
Yeah,
ass.
again, Tom and Jerry he'd drop a safe on his head, and then when the safe opens, he's shaped like a safe, and the big bruise comes out, and he shoves it up his ass. Like that's what he's known for.
Yeah.
To me, but you know,
I can't think of like Bob Burnquist is
Yeah.
the little
Cat-
Rodney
Caballero.
Mullen. I remember Rodney Mullen being
Chad
the big
Muska.
one.
LASIK. That's what happens when you get your eyes stuck with the lasers. Fucking hell, man.
But this was like, I mean, they released the game at this height of Tony Hawk fame. I mean, the 900 was like such a big deal.
Yeah,
he did-
that's my girlfriend was asking me. She was like, "Why was he like the big skater?" And I was like, "He done the 900." She was
Yeah.
like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's where you go."
Yeah,
With
yeah.
Jujujupoo.
I need. Yeah, you got to do that too.
Yeah.
Which
He
one?
did a Zoid. He literally done a Zoidberg.
Have you
In
seen?
there?
Have you watched it?
The 900?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it yesterday on YouTube.
Yeah,
and they were like, it was like a a big competition, and it's like a trick off. But like all the other skaters are like, well, we think he's going to do the 900 today. So everyone just stopped and just let him try over and over again. And you can tell the commentators are like, every time they're like, well, this could be the one. So the commentary has to be really fucking good. So it's just like escape. Every single time they go, 900, and then he falls.
Yeah.
Very funny.
It's like an 870.
Yeah. It just stacks it so many times. But this is home to this week's YouTube comment of the week.
Unhinged YouTube. Is it unhinged?
I'll let you decide.
Okay.
This is from Riko Saikawa, 9024, 3 years ago, on the video of Tony Hawk achieving the 900. It says, I remember watching this back in the day. I got inspired and ran out with my World Industries deck and popped an ollie and hit myself in the balls.
It's why would you share it?
Yeah. You didn't have to tell anybody.
It's like, why?
It's not as embarrassing as the thing you said earlier on, but it is slightly unhinged.
I still feel shame about that. Why would you?
Well, you should.
So this is...
Did you know how to do tricks?
No, I could do a kickflip, and
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
and I give up after that because all my friends at the time got way better, way quicker.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
what I
know,
was like with guitar playing.
and then I just went, yep, I did this exact same with guitar playing too. I was, oh, fuck off then.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know how to practice and get better? Oh, fucking
I'm about to
suck
do it
my
with
ass.
snowboarding at the moment too, because people have started, like Elliot Steele started the exact same time as me, and done like, and you get way better quicker, and I was like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
I felt proper
But
disgusted.
you're quite a delicate man, though, aren't you? You shouldn't be doing athletic things
I
like
shouldn't
that.
be doing anything.
For the benefit of the listener, what does that mean?
Ryan is
I'm
like
a
made
frail-
of glass. So
I am
like,
made of
yeah.
glass.
You got rice lungs.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, eat
Yeah.
crisp packets.
Yeah.
We scrunched up crisp packets, you know.
Yeah.
At the
Like
start of
40 pence
COVID,
ones as
if you
well.
want to know how frail it was, at the start of the COVID, my doctor rang me freaking out, going like, you need to, I mean, if you get this, you're dead. Like, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Like, in a proper panic. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Freaked me out.
Stay
It's like,
in the
I've had it like
house.
3 times.
Thank God
but
it's a hoax, do you know what I mean? But
you said,
my skateboarding experience was I didn't know how to do any tricks, but there was this shop called Billabong. In Glasgow, and in the Buchanan Galleries in Glasgow, and it was like right next to the car park exit.
It's a surfing brand.
Surfing brand, but they had loads of skateboard stuff
Yeah.
as well, and they had like loads of like all the outside of the shop was all driftwood, and then inside they had like videos playing like all the skateboard tricks and stuff,
Yep.
and like the baggiest jeans you've ever seen in your life, and wallets and chains. I got a chain wallet. I got like hoodies. I got a skateboard, and the same day I got a rucksack you could wear that would hold the skateboard in the rucksack.
oh, wow.
And I never ever figured out how to use it. I don't have
The
any
skateboard
balance.
or the rucksack?
No, I figured out how to use that. It's like
Right.
arm through here, and you
Yeah.
just try not to fall back.
Have you done any of your tricks, though, with the rucksack? Spin it round and fucking
Yeah,
up
yeah.
in the air? Yeah.
Honestly, it was so
Tony
embarrassing.
Hawk's rucksack underground.
All I did was to me, I think there was something wrong with the board, but in hindsight, I might have just been too scared to stand on it. And what I did was I would just go to the top of a hill, and I would sit on a skateboard, and I would go down the hill, and I would never stand up.
Did you have one of those big ones, you know, like the ones that weren't, not a regular skateboard, like
A longboard?
You know, like it wasn't even a longboard, you know, it was one that just kind of came out at the top. Like,
Oh yeah, what's
Yeah.
that about, man?
we had them when I was really young, trying to do kickflips and that. And then I realized this actually
It's
is
the
the
wrong
board.
shape.
Like it's also me. But even if I don't think Tony Hawk could pull this off. It took me a while.
Mine was for Toys R Us, unfortunately, but I loved the Billabong shop, and I've started wearing kind of skatey clothes again. That just kind of reminds me, A, it's kind of in fashion, but B, it's like, it just reminds me of being 9 again, and so does this record. I was 7 when this came out, and I didn't have this game, but I had the demo disc that had this game, so I played the first level 100 times.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I never ran another one.
What was the first Tony Hawk game that you had?
I got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I rented that for the video shop to PS2, and then I bought 4. And then I had Tony Hawk's Underground 2, which I want to get to in a wee second. And then I had Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
one of
that's
the
when it
worst ones.
started to get shit.
Underground
Never
2
was.
is where it started to go downhill. That's where they started doing crazy
You would
shit.
talk about the 900. Did you ever hear the band, the 900?
No.
right? So they're a band that just do Tony Hawk's.
Oh,
They just do Tony Hawk's
soundtrack covers. Oh no, I've actually got a note. There are literally 2 bands that exist right now that only play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater covers. One is Australian, and they're called Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtues of a Tony Hawk Skate cover band.
Wank.
And there's another called Downhill Jam. So there's actually a third called
Yeah,
900.
English. I saw them at the weekend at 2000 Trees.
You saw
You
them?
saw them?
We
Why are you not bringing this stuff up?
I had it in the chamber.
This guy's a fucking
Dark
rat,
horse.
man.
He's a dark horse.
Okay, they're two different
'cause
animals there.
we had already like dealt with like we were going to do this, and then I was at 2000 Trees, and I was seeing a band called Enola Gay.
Yeah,
right?
I heard of them.
They're
Enola Gay?
great.
That's
They're
named
Belfast.
after what's the song?
Right.
Then? I know the song.
The Bomb, is it? Is there Enola Gay?
No,
Bomb?
it's Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark song. Have a song called Enola Gay.
I can't remember what it is. I mean, but
It's
a bomb, isn't it?
no, it's the plane that dropped the bomb. I
Drop
think.
the little man.
Enola Gay.
I'm trying to talk about the horrors of nuclear war here, and you're singing synth pop.
Oh,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the horrors of nuclear war.
Yeah.
It's called Enola Gay. That's what it's about.
Show some respect to the
Yeah, have some
survivors
decorum.
of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, please.
Somebody goes to me, I never actually heard of the
never
900. Someone just goes to me, oh, the 900 are playing now. When I got off stage, just in the forest stage, and I was like, oh, what's the 900? And they go, they do Tony Hawk's. I was like, this is so funny.
You jumped
I'm
on
doing a
you jumped on your
podcast
board.
literally about this and bolted. I've seen half of these songs live, like last weekend.
Was
Wow.
it good?
Aye, great
That's the
fun.
best possible research you could have done for this pod. You're
Yeah.
more prepared for this than we are.
Everybody was having a great time. It was like, you know,
Did they sing?
we were all
"You
the
think
same
it's
age.
strange that there's a way for how you think and how you act and how you feel." Did they sing that?
A lot of knees that have
even.
only recently became sore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, it was a lot of that.
slouching.
Nobody would go near a board anymore.
But,
Just a lot of lads, the dream's over.
oh, it was like a wee trick there. That back stand.
It was the same energy that, like, when you're at a festival and you go to see Five, though.
It's like a fun. It's like a sort of ironic. We're watching
Yeah.
this kind of ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
And,
great.
and there's only 4 of them because one of them's dead
Yeah.
or a pedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. We haven't done Secret Pod Show.
Secret pie show, secret pie show. You do it fast and it feels like not show. Got no money, you got dodgeball. Secret pie show.
Tony Hawk. His father Frank was a retired U.S. Navy officer and small appliance salesman.
Back in.
And his mother Nancy was a homemaker and part-time business teacher.
A homemaker.
Yeah.
I would say solidly lower middle class.
That means they
Imperialism.
would stay at home.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They didn't make homes.
Yeah.
It's not
I did need that
A
cleared up.
landlord? No.
She's a joiner.
yeah.
wild,
Yeah.
man.
So that's I said pretty middle class upbringing. Nothing crazy. Nothing cray there. Not like
His
fucking
dad was an admiral.
retired U.S. Navy officer. So an officer in the Navy. I mean, you're not super rich, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Private officer, lieutenant, and up like that. Isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not like deciding where to bomb or anything. You know, he's an orders man
He's getting ordered about.
in a submarine.
But he's one step up.
Sure, but he doesn't work for Raytheon.
No.
He just drops the. He just
Yeah,
he's
Raytheon
just flying the
supplies.
underwater Enola Gay
Yeah.
to blow up.
It's interesting.
I hope that you Google it and you find out he's been in, like, The Hague loads on holidays.
Just keep scraping a win every time.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk a little bit about the actual album. There was like lots of songs on here that I did not know at all.
What? What ones?
Well, I didn't know.
Bring the Noise is already on the playlist thanks to my.
I didn't know Power Man 5000. Or
Oh, you know that one.
I didn't know,
Fireman sounds like a dildo, doesn't it? That's rearranged a
the
couple of
song's called
insides, that.
When Worlds Collide, which also sounds like one of the settings on a dildo.
Yeah.
I can't believe the disrespect.
1, 2, and when worlds collide. 4.
I didn't know Millencoin.
Oh yeah,
Melon Colin, a Swedish band.
Millencolin. I didn't know Lagwagon.
that was
Yeah,
a bit
it is.
whiny for me. The old Lagwagon song. I
Lagwagon That's like, you know, like obviously, I mean, you guys seem to think it's something funny about Power Man 5000, so like, absolutely no respect to the new metal scene. In my opinion, I think she's both wash your mouths out with soap.
Like, look, I liked a bit of new metal as well, right? But I feel like that Power Man, especially that song, was like 4 genres, and none of them were good. It was a real mashup.
I would actually say it was about 7 genres, and all of them were class.
I do appreciate what they went for.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs ever.
Really? I've
Yeah.
just shat on that now.
No, it's okay.
But what I liked about not knowing loads of them is that there was a point made in the blurb about how like game soundtracks, like after this, Tony Hawk and also FIFA became a big thing of like bands saw it as like a marketing opportunity. Whereas this feels like, I mean, in fact, that we both read the oral history of it. There were bands who were like, we just said yes to anything. We didn't think it was going to go anywhere. No one really knew this game was going to be a fucking huge success. This is like fucking seminal piece of like marketing for bands.
Oh,
you know?
definitely, yeah.
Well, Lagwagon only got to 2. Like, obviously, you got like Rage Against the Machine and Papa Roach, who were, and Anthrax and Public Enemy, who were like big things. But like Lagwagon, this is the one thing they had, you know.
Yeah.
And they still tour.
You can catch people like when Run the Jewels started, I knew LP for years because he used to do all the songs and all of Tony Hawk's. A lot of the hip hop was featuring LP.
He had the Def Jux record label.
Yeah, and he would do, you know, he did all the Cannibal Oxus stuff. So you'd be like, you're always watching it. And then I was like, Killer Mike and Singer getting the band. I was like, this is gonna be.
It is a cool mix up as well of like punk and like hip hop as well on all the Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
bit of
it's
metal
such a
sometimes
cool
too.
thing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we did do Underground too, because that's kind of where I discovered.
You mean the one he asked for?
Yeah, the one he asked for, and that you have
Mental.
actually played. You haven't played this one, and I've not played this one either, and you know, whatever. But I would say like that. I think that's where I discovered Johnny Cash.
Really?
Oh,
There's a Ring of Fire on the Barcelona. I was like, I fell into a burning ring of fire. And it also has fucking That's Life by Frank Sinatra. It's like a really great album that you chose that we've not covered.
We're not covered. Instead, we're talking about Power Man 5000 and Millen Collin.
Right.
But Anthrax and Public Enemy is a weird. It's a mashup nobody asked for. I love it.
Here's why I wanted to talk about this one, I guess, is because Bring the Noise by Anthrax and Public Enemy and Worlds Collide by Power Man 5000, I know them really well because they were also in SmackDown versus Raw.
Ah,
2005.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Crossover on a bit different. I mean, that's Ubisoft, is it? SmackDown?
No, but the thing what happened is, and this happened with the Guitar Hero soundtracks, is that you'll notice that
Wait, Ubisoft and Neversoft, are they must be sister companies,
no,
aren't
they're both in reference to something known in the computer world as software.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So
yeah.
that's a kind of
Sorry.
hardware.
Wow, okay, so I didn't know I was dealing with a hacker. Kind of computer talk over here. Wow,
Yeah.
okay. Wow. Well,
I actually
all right.
have a Lenovo ThinkPad at home.
Whoa.
I think
stuff.
when you just you mentioned hackers, there is a song in this, and I love it. Is it Styles of Culture? Have I got mixed the both up? What's it called? It's the like techno-y. Oh fuck! What is it?
Subculture. Styles of Beyond.
Yeah, Styles of Beyond. That song is like. For some reason, if you that's like a 90s hacker movie.
Yeah.
When they first meet the guy, that song's playing. He spills the coffee cup. The FBI are breaking down the door. He's burning CDs.
See, because there's no official Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 soundtrack on Spotify, you instead have to listen to playlists that have been curated to recreate the album. And that song, the only version of it is a 12-minute remix of it.
Amazing.
The upbeat remix, it says, is it?
Yeah. No, this is the Dylan and Ink remix. And it's 10 minutes long, and each time I had to skip it halfway through.
That's fair. You get the gist of it.
After a while.
Yeah.
I remember playing Tony Hawk, and I used to always play as there was like a demon woman. Do you remember the demon woman character you could play? She had red skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yes.
God, this is coming all back now.
And I played that character because she was wearing a thong. And that was
it.
A 12-year-old boy, and I was like, there's a butt.
That's why when I played WWE, Here Comes the Pain, I would always make Lita be my girlfriend because she had the baggy jeans and the thong. And I would keep restarting. It would give me Tori Wilson over and over again. I'd be like, I don't want Tori Wilson. I want Lita. I love Lita.
Yeah.
And I still love Lita.
And baggy jeans and high-rise thongs are back in. So how is that for you as a sort of nostalgia wave? You're returning to your former horny self?
Yeah. He's like, I can't get anything done.
Just restarting the day every day until Lita's your girlfriend.
If I speak, I am in trouble. I'm gonna speak, but decisions went against me.
It was Anthrax. So Anthrax and Public Enemy mashup was on SmackDown.
So what happened, and this is something that I noticed.
Thank you, Ryan, for getting the podcast back on track. By the way, I love when guests just really. I like. There's too much going on here. Doing Jose Mourinho impressions.
Do you know be a good mashup? The 1975 and actual Anthrax.
I'd love it if I died now.
So I've noticed this for Guitar Hero, where a lot of the songs in that were in Vice City and San Andreas, and it's because if a song is used by another video game, a lot of times it'll get used by someone else because they don't have to go and check to see if that artist is up for selling their song to video game. So you end up with a few songs that end up as video game songs. Yeah. And I was reading, and it's interesting because I do think that this soundtrack kind of changed video game music, because I was reading and it was saying that but after this came out, you had Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which had like V-Rock and like all the great, like Billie Jean was on that, and Megadeth and Slayer, and
that was one of the first. These were the first games where people spoke about it having a soundtrack.
But before this came out, they already had a 3D. It was Grand Theft Auto 3, but all the music in Grand Theft Auto 3 was in house.
Yeah.
And if you go back and play, I replayed the games. The music's pretty fucking shite.
Well, it just sounds like the sort of royalty-free music.
Did you ever play a game called Road Rash for the PlayStation 1?
No.
Ever play that? It's like, it was the first game that had, it was like Soundgarden.
Yep.
So it was like a game where you were like a motorcyclist, and you had like baseball bats, so you could hit other people off and like the police would chase you and stuff, and it was absolutely amazing. And they had Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, and it had loads of Soundgarden songs on it. And it was, I remember going from the Sega Mega Drive, which was like
yeah,
and then putting in fucking Road Rash, and it was like and I was like, this is class.
Do you know Tony Hawk isn't even the first that type of stuff with a soundtrack game that I bought?
Well,
I bought, and it was an unbelievable soundtrack, was Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX.
Really? That came out before this?
I'm pretty sure it did, didn't it?
Well,
Wait a minute, what year was this?
This was the second one in 2000.
Okay, no, it's around the same, because I reckon Pro BMX would have been 99 or so.
There were skating games before this, but they were all like downhill racers, basically, with the occasional
Tony Hawk
trick.
just put everything on moon mode as well. You know, nothing ever made it. Like, you could fly.
Oh,
you had a ramp good enough.
I had a cheat code to play the game in slow motion, so that it was much easier to do tricks. And like I just played it on slow motion for so long that just became normal to me.
You can do that in real life. It's called Valium.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to do tricks.
And I remember when some people came over to my house and we were playing PlayStation, and I put it on, and they were like, "Why is the game so slow?" And I was like, "Oh, I played the game in slow
Was
motion."
this because in real life you had that thing where you fucked that trick up and the skateboard landed on your head and you had the Tom and Jerry dick bruise?
Yeah, and I was just like, if only life was in slow mode, that maybe I would have. And that was how I became addicted to Valium and eventually became an alcoholic. Thanks for bringing it out.
In fairness, you would, if you saw everything was slow motion, you would still be in slow motion, so you'd actually have more time to register what's about to happen to you.
Wow.
But I guess that maybe there would have been a slight chance that within that slow mo I could have gone and I don't know, landed a fucking sick
no matter
backflip.
what speed you got the dick bruise. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you not think that would be,
when worlds collide.
do you not think that would be agony to exist in a world where you're in slow motion but your brain is at normal speed? And it'd be like having a really slow computer for everything.
Yeah, it'd be like fucking diving below the butterfly, just like watching the World Cup.
What's Diving Bird and the Butterfly?
Diving Below the Butterfly. It's a film about a guy who can only blink.
He can only blink?
Yeah, we don't need to get we don't need to get it.
Is this one of the few diseases this cunt doesn't have?
Wow, fucking able-bodied Chris making fun of the less fortunate once again.
Do you know, as Dave Chappelle once said, What are you? What's next in the podcast?
We're two guys reviewing tattoos. We're gonna Google every search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we do. Full sleeve up,
Face tat,
big skull up,
wing back.
You pick the design, is it a battle just fine? A dragon or a
Skull!
pretentious up? You cannot hide, and we will decide if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo woohoo. Yeah.
That's got to go on the soundtrack.
Heavily influenced by the Tony Hawk soundtrack. Let's
so
get the first tattoo.
May we
up.
see the tattoo on the screen behind us, please, producer?
So this is a recent one. This is by a guy called Dr. Wu.
Dr.
Who's
Wu.
He's like the tattooist to the stars, and this is his style. It always has this kind of intricate.
Okay, so we should explain it for the audio listeners. It's a sort of abstract tattoo. It's a skateboard with a number 6 or a number 9 on it. And there are sort of like, that picture, is it like the Da Vinci
I'd say it was a 6.
picture of like the man with the 6 arms and all the circles
A
around
lot
him?
of symmetry.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of.
Yeah,
I would describe it as like physics.
Yeah,
You know?
physics and
Describing the
solar
the
system.
orbit of planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of random letters.
Couple of random
There
letters.
is CRSM.
They might be his children's initials or something.
Okay.
This is Tony's, I presume, yes.
yeah. This isn't just
yeah.
a skateboard tattoo.
It'd be great if it was yours.
Yeah, this
You're
is on
like,
my.
why the image?
This is on the shaft of my gawk. I would say the meaning of it is that everything revolves around skateboarding for this guy.
Skateboarding is life.
Aye.
Skateboarding
So he's
is
got
the
the
world.
orbits. Of the,
Imagine if you asked him and he was like, no. I want to kickflip into space.
I want to be a spaceman.
There's a level on one of the Tony Hawk games you can unlock where there's
On the moon?
where it's in the moon.
played
Yeah,
that.
For fuck, I don't remember that.
yeah.
It was good.
It
I was
was-
Wolverine on that level.
Well, what interesting about the Tony Hawk game is that actually different platforms had different unlockable levels.
Mm-hmm.
So on PlayStation and PC, there were different levels and characters depending on the platform. So maybe you
And
can
in
play on-
Japan, they had Japanese people.
really,
And in
as
Korea.
you mean in the game in the NPCs, not just in general?
No, in Japan, they have Japanese
it's
people.
very interesting. In Japan, people are
The
Japanese.
Korean, the Korean version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 has 7 tracks by the Korean girl group Fin KL.
Wow.
And they have a song called Forever Love, and it just doesn't. It's not like these
Forever
songs.
love.
It's not like Avril Lavigne pop music. It's like
Are you improvising a Korean pop
No,
song
that's
there?
word for word.
Okay.
It's very nice. It's too nice.
No watashi wa, stuff like that.
There is
No,
a-
Watashi wa.
There is one of the song albums. It's called Breakfast at Papa's. It was consumed. One of the consumed songs called Breakfast. And I was like, it's very nice for quite a heavy.
Papa's.
Like there's
Well, if it's breakfast at Papa Roach's.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've heard of that anal cunt,
Yeah.
and they were all a lot of N words and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
they kind of. That's not it. Fu Manchu is in this. That's a good name
Stoner
for a
rock,
band.
Yeah.
Fu Manchu.
Bit racist.
Fu Manchu are
Yeah,
racist.
he's like a racist figure.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that's raging now. I've just ruined everything for myself.
No, I'm not saying the band's racist. I just mean naming your band after a racist thing. is what
Oh,
I've done.
okay, yeah.
Who's Fu Manchu?
So there was a thing in the early half of the 20th century called the Yellow Peril.
Right.
And Fu Manchu was before you had Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin. A lot of comic books where fictional characters going against real life people. So you'd have Captain America punch Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Or you'd have, the Shadow versus Fu Manchu, who was this...
Desmond Tutu.
Desmond Tutu was Fu Manchu. Basically, I had a big, those, when you see
I
like
fucking think I know
old
who-
racist pictures of a Chinese person and they
Yeah.
have like yellow skin and like the eyes of a snake and
Right.
like their mustaches come down to their tits.
Yeah.
That's a Fu Manchu.
Okay.
Right.
So I would give it a
okay.
woohoo. I'll give it a full woo Manchu.
Woohoo. This is I think this is cool. This is like abstract. I like stuff like this. It's interesting, isn't it? It's a bit more like this is different to any of the other tattoos we've looked at, but it still looks cool. It's a woohoo from me.
I don't think it's bad, yeah. So I'm going woo.
Ryan's going to give it a woo,
I'm
which is a new category we've never had before.
So it's woohoo or boohoo.
No, Ryan can give it a woo. He can't say long words, otherwise he fucking collapses. You know how unwell he is. So
Listen, the meek shall inherit the earth. So someday this is going to be my podcast.
So that's a woohoo from all three of us, I think. Well done, Tony. And you've got a second tattoo, have you?
Yep.
Let's have the next one, please. We'll have a look at
The next one
That's,
is okay. Good one for any
images, I love
foot
it.
freaks. If anybody wants to see Liam's head pressed against an athletic foot, just
Bit
for
of
the,
Tarantino.
just for the ultras.
okay, so here's Tony showing his tattoo right above his left ankle.
Yeah.
What is it?
Very similar to Count Olaf from the series of Unfortunate Event, who would have a tattoo on his ankle of the eye. This isn't an eye, of course. This is the famous Tony Hawk logo.
What's
you think
similar
of-
to the Count Olaf thing there? I don't understand the reference there.
Well, you don't get it, so don't worry about it.
I've seen the film.
Well, he has a tattoo of his ankle on an eye.
He has
He
his
has a tattoo on his ankle of an eye.
right. Okay, but you just said, but this isn't an eye.
No, this is a hawk
So what's the relevance? Just that they've both got tattoos.
on their ankle.
Right. Okay.
So it's very similar to the series of Unfortunate Events, Count Olaf.
Yeah. Okay. A series of unfortunate fucking sentences.
In
That
in that picture, it looks like Tony Hawk's face has been superimposed 1 inch too low
Yeah.
onto his head.
he's kind of goofy looking motherfucker, isn't he?
No.
He looks far too normal for being a...
He's. Do you
I
know
would
what?
just like
he's
to clarify,
quite funny. He's,
as a big four-headed legend myself,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with packing a few extra inches up top.
he's quite funny, isn't he? Like he's always tweeting stories about when people are like, "Hey, you look like Tony Hawk," and I'm like, and I was like, "Oh, thanks." He does like one of his memes that he always
Yeah,
does.
he does a lot of memes.
So he has his own brand tattooed on him. So I
Do you
guess
think that's okay?
that'd be like if we got an Enjoy an Album tattoo. Which is
No, it'd be like if you got a Liam Withnail logo tattoo.
well, I mean, Enjoy an Album. You don't think that's the same?
Well,
No,
if you got,
because
a pro,
he
if you
isn't
got a pro
getting-
skater tattoo, that would be an enjoyable.
If he got Hawk skateboarding,
Hawk skateboarding.
the
His Norwegian offshoot. Welcome to Hawk
Swedish Nazi.
skateboarding.
Irish Swedish Nazi skateboard on. No, I'm talking about that's his company's logo, right? That's him. So that's a logo for him.
Right. Okay.
If you got your own logo, if you got your own
Liam Withnail.
Liam Withnail logo,
The L and the W. That's my
Yeah.
logo. Like that.
is that okay? Would you get that?
If I just got two hands tattooed on me. So what if I got the Godspeed style, but with this
too late, you've already got-
LW? I've got more space.
One in each arch. One in each
One in
arch
each
cheek.
arse cheek. An L.
And
hand
say low,
and a
'cause
W
your
hand.
bumhole would be the O. If you like the band Low, then you
Left
could do
and
that,
white.
yeah. Left and white.
Left and white.
Wow.
Loose women.
Lag
Okay.
wagon.
Lag wagon. That's good stuff right there. He's the biggest lag
my
wagon
lag
fan
wagon
there
tattoo.
is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's,
So I mean that would be a woohoo for me personally. I think this is just a bit crap on the ankle. I mean he's a skateboarder. Maybe his ankle's going to be on display more than most people.
I just love he's got a
board
flip
shorts.
phone and a digital camera and a little tattoo, and he's living his best life in 2002.
What's he wearing here? Is that?
That's
Is he wearing glasses on a strap?
No,
He's
Like,
such a
like-
dad, isn't he?
Like a mad fucking...
well, he's a SoCal guy.
Yeah.
He's got the sun in his eyes, got the little sunglasses. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. What about you? Are you giving us a woohoo or a boo-hoo?
I don't know. A logo of yourself I find is a bit weird. I'm going to go no.
Yes.
It's gonna go with no.
What's no? What's... Boo-hoo.
A no ho.
Correct.
Boo-hoo.
Tattoo
That's
woohoo
a-
or tattoo boohoo? I think I'm gonna go with no.
Tattoo whoa whoa. Tattoo no no.
Yeah.
Tattoo nay nay.
I just found this may
Thank
be
you
a
very
bit-
much for the tattoos. If we can return to the album cover.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just found because like the beauty of this game, I think, was that it's like what you were saying, where like a lot of skateboarding games were about like racing, and that isn't what skateboarding's about. It's not about going as fast as you can and beating people. It's about expressing yourself through tricks, and I think that kind of got lost with the Tony Hawk's Underground series, where it went from being, hey, do loads of tricks here and you could do loads of tricks somewhere else, which is like a very pure thing. I found a plot synopsis for Tony Hawk's Underground 1.
So I think I remember the plot to this.
Okay.
Do you want me to, or do you want to just read it?
Okay, after designing so you play as a protagonist and your rival's called Eric.
I remember Eric.
I think it was like Eric Pigeon or something.
He started off as your best friend.
Yeah. Well, let's find out what happens. After designing their own pro skateboard, the protagonist and Eric embark on a team trip to Moscow, Russia, where they reconcile. Eric gets drunk and joyrides in a Russian military tank. The protagonist hops in and attempts to stop the tank, but being unfamiliar with the controls, fails to stop it from crashing into a government building. Eric jumps out and runs away, leaving the protagonist trapped inside to be arrested by the Russian military. Eric then lies and claims the protagonist stole the tank, stating that he in fact tried to stop them. Unwilling to pay the $700,000 worth of damages, Todd kicks the protagonist off the team, much to Eric's delight. The American embassy bails out the protagonist, leaving them to do favours for locals in order to return home to New Jersey. Eric, who now owns his own skate company, reveals that he had been planning to betray the protagonist after having long abandoned the idea of soul skating for enjoyment rather than riches. After unsuccessfully trying to exempt them from the Tampa AM, Eric stole the helicopter footage in jealousy before finally getting the protagonist kicked off the skate team by lying back in Moscow. Determined to fight back, the protagonist teams up with Peralta and several professionals to create a soul skating video, creating a new trick in the process. Due to the success of the video, Eric challenges the protagonist to one last skate off with the unedited helicopter tape at stake. The protagonist wins the skate off and walks away with the tape as Eric screams and rages at them.
Yeah, you had to do. Did you have to do a trick over the helicopter?
Yeah, you have to. You're on top of the tallest building in New York, or something, and you do a trick over or in Florida, and you do a trick over the top of the helicopter.
Yeah,
I mean, they just lost something there for me.
What a way!
Was that too long?
What a way!
Yes.
What a way to set someone up, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there are easier ways. Like, I gotta get him to Moscow.
Joyriding a fucking tank. It basically went from like a sort of skateboard trick game to like a sort of jackass type. Like there was japes. They were like trying to cause destruction.
That was the culture at the time, man. I just miss those days when everybody was a mosher. Even the Neds I grew up with became moshers for like 2 months. It just the height of it being cool.
Yeah.
You know, people had Limp Bizkit hoodies and
Oh, I had them.
yeah, it was just a great time.
I had the
Everybody had a
chain
chain
wallet
wallet
as well, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I was the only person with a chain wallet in my school.
What?
What about Pat?
No way.
No?
No.
Okay. Surprises me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing this album in. How we doing for time?
Yeah, we're okay. I mean, we need to add some songs to the playlist every week. We add a song, a piece from the album what we've spoken about, even though we've mainly spoken about the game.
We spoke enough about the music.
To the ever-growing Enjoy album playlist. So, Ryan, we ask you to choose your favourite song from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 soundtrack to add to the playlist.
Okay.
And then also a track inspired by the conversation, just anything we've spoke about. Like,
So we can give you a minute whilst we make our decisions. I'm going to put on the Bad Religion song, You.
yeah.
You've chosen mine as well. In fairness, it was going to be you, but the Dub Pistols I'll go with.
Oh, okay.
Only because the Dub Pistols was one that like constantly played through. It was one of the main ones they would pick on. The like. I know it's meant to be on a random shuffle, but sometimes you're like, 3 songs played way more than the others.
Yeah,
and that was one of
100%.
them.
Yeah. I also kind of think it was like level by level, or was that just the later games that were level by
Oh,
level?
I'm not even sure. That could make sense.
I'm gonna go with gotta be When Worlds Collide by Powerman 5000.
This is what happens when worlds collide. Are you ready to go? 'Cause I'm ready to go. What you gonna do, baby? Are you ready to be? 'Cause I'm ready to be. That's the end of all time. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
He's going to be up to the 5th rib in the Power Man 5000 later.
I have been hospitalised by the Powerman 5000.
Up to
I
your
was
nuts
on
and
a
guts.
business trip and I used olive oil instead of lube, and I started bleeding.
Oh, I met someone last night who had to surgically remove a, the oil spray? A nurse, someone had shoved that up their bum so far they had to get it.
It's just such a
surgically removed.
mistake to put the thing that's making you lubed up your hole.
Up the hole. Yeah,
But,
that's the Power Man 5000 promise.
5,000 promise.
What song would you like to put on? Inspired by our chat.
Has a flared
Again,
bass.
I can go first if you like. I will put on All My Friends Are Metalheads by Less Than Jake.
Okay, right.
You can put any song from your Dublin DJ days, James Joyce poetry, whatever you want.
I'm trying to think of what other ridiculous people have won.
I was just going to put on an audiobook of Ulysses.
The Ting Tings. They've won the James Joyce Award for Literature.
They announced them that they'd won it, and they said that's not their name.
Let's go with what is the song? Because of Bam, and he's went mental now.
He's always at the bottom of websites going, "You'll never believe what Bam Margera looks like now." And I'm like, is he fucked?
He was Jackass, wasn't he, for a while?
He was Camp Kill Yourself, and then he was Jackass, you know.
Yeah, okay.
He kind of took over Jackass for a while.
Because they all still...
Dirty Sanchez, was he involved in that?
No, that was the Welsh
British
fellas.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll go with... What's the Jackass theme song? Who sings that again?
Minutemen.
Minutemen.
It's called
not
Corona.
Corona. Yeah. Yeah. Banger. Good band too. We'll go with that.
There's a great chapter of this book, Our Band Could Be Your Life, and it's all about the Minutemen.
Fucking excellent. Yeah.
It's really good.
Minutemen's great. So I'll go with Minutemen.
Great choice, Ryan. Wonderful. Christopher, what's your fucking tangential, somehow not related to what we've spoken, choice going to be this week?
You know, I could put on Road Rash, Soundgarden, Rusty Cage, but seeing as how you've tweaked my wee nips there, you want me to bring up something I'm not spoke about?
No, I don't.
Okay,
The opposite.
Put that one in.
Perfect.
Rusty
Great.
Cage.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Fuck up.
you're not doing the Edinburgh Fringe. However,
What? You live here, you clown? All your overheads are covered. We do.
I've done it too many years.
he's going
in
to
a row.
Dubai instead.
Yeah.
To,
Did shows in Dubai. I'll do a couple of roast battles.
He's
In Dubai?
No,
he's,
here.
no.
The roast battles for the first half of the Fringe.
Roast battles in Dubai would end pretty badly.
Yeah,
I
Jamal
think.
Khashoggi, he found that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Ryan's off to Dubai
need
to roast
need
battles
that,
have been roast battles have been sports washed. That's what happened.
Yeah.
They're buying all the best roast battlers to go and live in Dubai.
Take it down a level.
Shout out to Jamal Khashoggi, man.
But you do have your own podcast,
Yeah.
Absolute Cuts with Mark Nelson. It's
Yeah.
basically this, but with films. Is that fair?
That's pretty much bang on. Pretty much bang on. A jumping off point.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping off point to chat shit and bang.
And remember, you're jumping off point in that skate park where you fell.
Oh, why would you do that? What a sore memory.
Can I just say thank you? I think you've been an absolutely great guest.
Jumping
Ben.
is
Thank
really
you.
overdoing what it was. Like
Phil.
it was fall. Jumping sounds
Falling
like
without
this-
style is Buzz Lightyear might not say.
landing on. I had a bruised ass for a week.
Well, as long as we get the Power Man 5000 involved at time.
Ryan, you've been a wonderful guest. We're so glad to have had you here and appreciate your choices, even though we didn't speak about any of them.
This will get. Come on, I don't want to be too cynical, but this people will click on this. and listen to it.
People will click on this,
You
and that's
know,
what we
and
care
that's
about.
all that matters. in
You're
this
currently
stupid world.
S tier in the guest T-shirt front. We'll see what happens.
How's this go?
Oh, you what's that? You've
Got
got
parody Catcher in the Rye t-shirt.
right.
Oh, okay.
Probably B Z tier. Probably Z.
Yeah, I've got my King Stingray
That's A,
T-shirt.
that's A.
That's a cool one.
SAZ. That's how we're doing it now.
Saz. Ryan, thanks so much, and thank you, dear listener, for being a part of an Enjoying Album Multiverse. We'll catch you next time on the flip.
Just want to say apologies for going on an extended explanation of who Fu Manchu was. But what I will say is peace and love in the new millennium.
Bye. 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 Bye.